Hi, Adam. Welcome to Lewis.
Thank you for having me.
You've been a passionate advocate for disability rights for years. How do you feel your role in A Different Man aligns with you or expands upon the conversations you've been driving in your activism?
So, a different man asks a lot of the same questions that I've been asking for years. Kind of, is
Yes.
who we are on the outside, who we are on the inside, is the grass greener on the other side, and also highlights the ethics of disabled actors playing disabled roles, what is and isn't exploitation, and what isn't inclusivity. And all these questions sort of come to a head in this film. But it's all done in such a
Okay.
way that rather than preaching to an audience and telling them what to think, we hold up mirrors and sort of try and challenge how they think and why are all these like thoughts that we have subconsciously or that we're preconditioned to think, why do they exist? And that's what this movie is setting out to do, and how it aligns with my activism. It's always asking why.
A Different Man, your character's journey touches on the theme of self-image and obsession. What was it like for you to explore those themes as someone who's been as open about society's perception of beauty and difference?
It's always fun when you can like rock up to work and play a character that's a little bit like you but with the volume turned up. But in a role that sort of has almost a deeper meaning. And I was very fortunate. We had a really good writer director in Aaron Schimberg, and I'm getting to bounce off a fantastic actor and great bloke in Sebastian Stan. And so that interplay and those
Yes.
two character dynamics sort of like colliding on screen is where a lot of the real heavy lifting happens. But for me to be
Yes.
working on something that sort of like resonates in my core beliefs anyway was really good fun. And yeah, very happy with it. Asked a lot of smart questions. Lets the audience, as I say, find their own answers. So I'm very fortunate to have gotten to play Oswald.
Your co-star Sebastian Stan is known for his powerful performances. How did the dynamic between you and him develop on set? And how did you shape the film's intense exploration of identity?
We'd already met. We'd had a very long Zoom meeting before I got to New York to discuss both our lives, upbringings, characters, and how all this might work. And then
Yes.
you get to set, you meet in person, and we really quickly found a really good kind of chemistry and dynamic where we got on. And it's always nice when people are nice, right? And no, he's a good bloke. He's, as you say, a fantastic actor. And when you work with good actors, it makes you sort of better as well. I always say
Yes.
to up and coming actors, find people who do what you want to do well and just get in their way. Like have a little bit of humility, just sit under the learning tree for a while and sort of like learn via osmosis. And again, Sebastian, top of his game, Renata Rinze, top of her game. And so they sort of brought me up that like next level where you have to like raise your game in order to compete and not get lost in a film. So
Yes.
great guy, love him to bits, really good dynamic. And I think you can tell in the way that kind of Guy slash Edward and Oswald all bounce off each other that it's just a really well written and well thought through character study and character dynamic.
The film is described as both surreal, and unsettling, with the dark human woven throughout. How do you balance the gravity of themes with the satirical elements of your performance?
The balancing act. I think a lot of people tend to agonize over tone and balance, and that kind of almost paralyzes the whole project, and no one really does anything. And so I
Yes,
think like tone and balance tend to find themselves when the script's really good. Tone and balance just somehow magically work themselves out, and so we had like the really good script. And you need to give audiences permission to feel awkward and uncomfortable, but then also
yes,
permission to laugh and have that little bit of brevity so they can like kind of decompress for a few seconds before you drag them back into those moments of awkwardness. And there are some moments in the film that are kind of deliberately visceral, confrontational, discomforting. But those aren't necessarily
yes,
bad things. I think it's okay to feel uncomfortable with something and sort of like push
yes, of
through that
course.
discomfort to get to the other side. Like I'm made uncomfortable by boy bands. That doesn't mean that boy bands are inherently inherently bad. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
I think sometimes when we're confronted by our own kind of uncomfortabilities, we then
Yes,
ask ourselves, okay, but where's this coming from? And is the thing the problem, or am I the problem? And then you can do some sort of like heavy lifting in your soul at one point or another. But a little bit of kind of discomfort and confrontation can be a very healthy thing.
Um, you've been in both documentary and narrative film formats. How does your approach to acting differ when you're playing a character in a fictional setting, like a different man, versus when you are presenting yourself in documentaries?
So both are forms of storytelling. There's a lot more
Yes,
crossover between documentary and film than people tend to realize there is. Documentary is way more exposing than film
yes,
because you don't have that kind of shield or facade of persona to kind of lean into or hide behind. It's as real can be. And so you have to
hmm,
bring all of yourself to work. Whereas acting, you've got sort of like script, wardrobe, and character all to sort of like play with. So you've got to figure a lot more things out in one go on the fly. And with acting and sort of like fictional filmmaking, it all stays on set. Like you don't sort of
yes,
like take that work home with you. Like Oswald very much stays in the trailer or on location, and then Adam Pearson kind of goes home to his family. Whereas
uh,
documentary, you bring everything like home with you. You sort of like completely live that, and there's no downtime on documentaries. Whereas on film, they yell, cut, that's a wrap for today, and then everything kind of goes back to normal. So you have a bit more separation at the end of the day on film.
yes,
Whereas
on film.
documentaries, it's all with you and it all stays with you.
As an actor, what was the most challenging part of portraying a character whose life undergoes a dramatic transformation? How did you prepare mentally and emotionally for this role?
For preparation, you read the script, then you sort of learn your lines.
Yes.
And then I'm a big fan of just getting to work, being a nice guy and doing the job. Kind of be nice to everyone, do your job, do it well. Because we were on like a really tight schedule. We shot the whole film in 22 days. You're also shooting
Wow.
on tape. You're shooting on Super 16 as well, so you can hear the money burning through the camera. So every
Yes.
mistake sort of has a little bit more weight to it. And it means everyone has to be on their A game and turn up, irrespective of whether you're acting, sound, like camera ops. And there's a lot of very long kind of oneers, so 10-minute scenes that are all done in one continuous shot that you've got to nail like first time every time. So I think the prep is learning the words, learning your character, everyone else's characters, and how they interplay. And then above
Mhm.
all else, when they yell action and when the rudder hits the road and the chips are down, you gotta just turn it on. You gotta just like rock up and like nail it. Go into everything like it's the first time and the last time.
Isn't that a lot more pressure? Having to get it the first time round?
I like pressure. I think pressure makes us better because
Yes. Correct.
heat and pressure is what turns coal into diamonds. And if there's
True.
no pressure, no, if there's no pressure, it can make people like lazy and a little bit complacent. So yeah, I quite like that kind of good kind of pressure and that good kind of fear where your mistakes matter because it makes you
Yes.
think things through in a way more succinct and deep way than you would if you were shooting on digital or if you were working on like a I don't know a lesser project. So pressure is ultimately good.
Okay. Fantastic, Adam. Thank you. Aaron Schimberg, the director of A Different Man, is known for his bold, unconventional storytelling. How did his vision influence your performance? And what was your collaboration like on set?
So if it's in the film, it's in the script. Like there's no like ad libbing or kind of freestyling at all. The script was very well written and very deliberate. And
Mm.
I when he asked me if I'd work with him again, because we did his previous film together, Change for Life, I had no qualms or reservations about saying yes. And then I think it's important that you let writers and directors go away, write and direct. Otherwise, you wind up with sort of like too many cooks spoiling the broth and death by studio or death by 1,000 stupid opinions. So I was like,
Yes.
gonna let you do your thing, then I'll read it and give you my notes. And I read it, realized what we're doing. Yep, we're doing Kaufman, amazing. I'm so in on this. I think my only notes was I had to learn to yodel. But you can go away and do that, can't you?
Insecurity and society standards of beauty are at the core of Different Men. How does the film challenge traditional notions of beauty, and how do you hope audiences will engage with this commentary?
So again, it comes back to asking the question: Is who we are on the outside who we are on the inside? There's this old Jim Carrey quote where he says, "I wish everyone can achieve all their hopes and dreams, so that they'll realize it's not enough, and that the grass isn't always greener on the other side." And I think particularly now
Yes.
in 2024, where we all have our own little low self-esteem machines in our pocket, and we're forever doom scrolling through like X and Instagram and what have you, comparing other people's greatest hits to our behind the scenes. The pressure to be like perfect has never been like higher. And I think we've done the word beauty a massive disservice by quantifying it and saying, okay, this isn't beautiful. Because ultimately it's in the eye of
Adam?
the beholder, right? And so I think we all need to maybe put our phones away a
Yes.
bit more, get into the real world a bit more, and maybe we all need to get over ourselves a little bit and realize that we're not the
Yes.
center of the universe in a way.
You've been a prominent voice in reshaping the disability the way the disability is portrayed in the media, how do you see the film industry evolving in terms of representing diverse and authentic voices, and where would you like to see more change?
I don't think there's one area you can pull out in isolation and say that kind of this is the problem. I think we need more kind of disabled voices in writing rooms telling these stories. I think you should write what you know and know what you write. And because if you don't, it comes across really badly on screen. Like there's a litany of kind of disabled films written by non-disabled people, and more often
Yes,
than not, they are trash. Like Gary Oldman's Tiptoes is like garbage. Sia music like garbage. I'm calling it now. The new version of Snow White will be garbage because they rather than hiring like little actors, they're CGIing it all, and it just feels really counterintuitive to what we would regard as inclusion in
yes,
2024. And we also need just more incidental roles for disabled actors, where their disability isn't their raison d'etre to being included in the storytelling and in like the wider narrative. So, and I think slowly but surely we're getting there. I mean, not quick enough for my liking, but I
yes.
mean, and any change is slow, and as long as we're all making baby steps in the right direction, then I'm easygoing enough. But we can be doing and should be doing better in representing not only disabled actors um, in the industry, but also disabled people on screen. One of the biggest compliments we can get with A Different Man is in the New York screenings, we had several people from various charities there at the advanced screening. And then afterwards, they just all came up to myself and Sebastian there and said, "Thank you. That's the first time I've seen myself represented properly in a
Yes.
film. I feel seen and I feel heard for the first time in my adult life." And to me, that's the biggest compliment we can get with this film.
Fantastic, Adam. Thank you. Thank you. Now, for our last question. A Different Man is set to be distributed by A24, a studio known for its taking risks on unconventional films. What do you hope viewers will take away from the movie, and how do you feel it stands out in today's cinematic landscape?
Or, as you say, A24 are really good at like risk taking and putting out really bold, unique, verging on like wacky films. And so by that virtue alone, it will stand out. I'm not a big fan of telling audiences what to take away from things. I think as long as you take away
Yes.
something, then we're golden. Everyone I've spoken to who's seen it has been like, yeah, I had to like do 2 days of like heavy lifting in my head to get to where I needed to be with this film. And I think as long as people are leaving different to how they walked in, I think the film has done its job. It holds up mirrors rather than placards. It's really intelligent and it's quite a watch. It'll leave you questioning yourself and the world you live in. And so if you want to go and see a deep, dark, challenging yet beautiful film, go and see A Different Man. On the other hand, if you just want to go and see something that's a bit meh, go and see Joker 2. But no, A Different Man is it's it's a once in a generation film. A Different Man.
Thank you so much, Adam. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.